When Cal was in high school, he spent every day with his best friend. But as you get older, everyone drifts away.
I don't like you.
Why?
There's something you're not telling me.
Bro, are you on drugs?
In all fairness, I did say I had no intentions of staying clean. As a beloved character, I feel a responsibility to make good decisions.
So,
I came up with an amazing plan. Hi, I'm Rue. I would love to present you with a business opportunity.
Throughout the second episode, there's a reoccurring idea of desire, the difference between what the characters say they want versus what they actually want. With Nate being beaten unconscious, it just opened up this gateway into his desires and wants and needs.
Nate goes into the future and plays his whole life out. And she's perfect and she's beautiful and she's got blonde hair and then we'll have children and then we'll get married. And I think that brings him a great deal of comfort because it means he won't end up in the same place that his mum and dad did. But shooting them was really, really weird because I had to be nice. And that was peculiar because it's not often that I'm not doing something dark.
Nurse! Nurse!
The process of having his head caved in was really, really cool. I got to go to this studio and kind of get this cast made of my head, and then Tara, my makeup artist, we started at maybe 5 hours, and then it became 4 hours, and maybe 3.5 hours in the makeup chair, just lining the prosthetic up, which was my face, which would like squish my eye. And then I had a contact put in. And then the coolest thing about the prosthetic was the nurse could actually put stitches through it. So they put like real stitches in my head. And I think by the end of it, we've done it so much, I started to get phantom pain. Like I'd see myself in the mirror and think that maybe my head was actually hurting.
And action.
You know what's actually really crazy is the first time Sam kind of mentioned to me what he was going to do with season 2. I was at a baseball game and he randomly calls me and I answer and I go like behind the stands trying to hear what he's saying. And he goes, "So what do you think's like the craziest thing Cassie would do season 2? Like, oh man, I don't know. And I'm trying to think of what is something Sam would come up with. He goes, "What about Nate? Cassie and Nate?" I lost it. I lost my mind. I was like, that's definitely something crazy. And my first response was, "But what about Maddie?"
I think initially with the Nate and Cassie relationship, I didn't really understand it. I was worried that it was just a high school trope and just, you know, different people sleeping with different people. Then after talking to Sam and working with Sid, to me it became quite an important part and a development in his character, affecting what he thinks that love is and the kind of love that he's looking for.
Nate sent me the most beautiful text message this morning. Maddie was with Nate for so long, she's still kind of playing with the idea of, well, could we be back together? Playing her this season feels really internal.
babysitting wasn't her first choice of a job.
Funny because season 1, they're like, Maddie never wanted a job.
I'm sorry, but 17-year-olds can't donate eggs.
But I think not being with Nate and having this like new sense of independence and realizing maybe she doesn't want to stay in this town forever. She definitely doesn't want to stay at home with her parents. So she, of course, finds a job babysitting for an extravagant, chic woman who has beautiful clothing.
Hey, can you help me with this zipper?
My friend Bryn came in and helped us set design with all of her clothing because she just has the most beautiful clothing. She came in and brought a bunch of stuff from her shop. She owns a Ralda Vintage. It was like my dream closet. We had a lot of vintage couture gowns and that was so fun. Like walking in and being able to try on all those gowns was definitely a highlight.
Faye came to live with Fez.
Don't touch nothing. Don't go in my fucking room, all right?
I promise.
Want some of my sandwich?
Okay. Euphoria was my favorite show. I thought it was an absolute masterpiece. A casting company, they reached out to me on Sam's behalf and they said, the director of Euphoria really wants you to audition. I was a huge fan. I thought everything they did was amazing. I was like, whoa, that's too good to be true. I had this whole thing prepared and I was like studying like people that do heroin, like how they talk. I came in and I was doing it and Sam was like, okay, say it just like how you would say it. I didn't do anything! And then I started talking just like me and he was like, that's so good. And I was like, okay, if you say so, you make Euphoria, you would know.
Shooting Kat stuff has always been super fun. I mean, she lives so much in her fantasy and we get to see it in a visual and immersive way, which has always made her so special to me. She's a very internal, imaginative person. And in episode 2, you kind of really see her struggle. She just started really exploring her romantic and sexual self. With Ethan, she thought of what it could be, and her fantasy will always be stronger than the reality.
Their relationship's in kind of a strange spot. Kat isn't into it anymore. It's like when you have like a partner and they're becoming distant and you're kind of like trying to go in even more, and I think you could just kind of feel distance.
Ethan?
They put this piece on me that like splurted a ton of blood, and it was fun to do that stunt. I just read that being surprised by whatever was happening. Probably for a second not understanding if it was a fantasy or not.
Sam's got a brilliant mind for compositing different ideas, like this visual pun with Game of Thrones that you'd think have absolutely nothing to do with one another, yet when they enter his brain, they recombine and get spit out in the most elaborate and strange and exciting, unique ways.
Kat, you need to smash all beauty standards.
But I can't even get out of bed.
You have to love yourself. You need to find your inner fucking warrior.
This came from a lot of conversations with me and Sam where loving yourself is this self-help motto that's like stitched on pillows. And for me, it was very personal because I have this expectation to be this confident person, which I have to say I'm not very confident at all. And there's this false perspective on me that like just because I'm a bigger person in like a world of thinner people that I have to, you know, be really confident.
Kat, you just have to love yourself.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. I fucking hate myself. With Kat, she just has this fantasy of, can't you hear me? Like, I don't like myself and nothing that you say can help that.
It became a funny way of addressing the suffocating nature of social media. I always feel like everyone's always giving advice to no one who's asking for it. I think that that feeling of not being heard and not valuing the individual emotional experience is a larger struggle.
For me, I think I deal with all of my pain through joking, and that may be good, that may be bad. Who's to say? I'm not a doctor, but I think there is humor in deeply dark things, and it being portrayed that way is relatable to a lot of people.